Hello and welcome to MPB's boot camp for ACT math portion. I am Miss Killen here to make sure that you get the best possible ACT score on the math portion. So we are in lesson 13 when we're looking for the questions 41 through 45. After this lesson, we will start looking at some different strategies and techniques that will help us with some of these questions. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we have. So here we go. Here we go. Question 41 says, given that 1 less than greater than m less than greater, 1 is less than or equal to m, which is less than or equal to 4, and 4 is less than or equal to n, which is less than or equal to 6, and 8, which is less than or equal to p, which is less than or equal to 10, what is the greatest possible value of m over n times 1 over p? So I'm going to go ahead and write that so we can remember what we're looking at. All right, so now I need to put those in with numbers. So for my m, I'm going to take the largest possible answer, which is 4. And then for my n and my p, I'm going to use the smallest. So I have the smallest being 4 for n. And then I have the smallest for p to be 8. I'm going to multiply these together. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 8 is 32. I don't see that answer choice, so I'm going to reduce always for my fractions. I'm going to divide by 4 on top and bottom and get 1 over 8. So my answer is D. Now, we should have remembered how to look at this greatest possible value in our math courses. So I want to make sure that we're looking back at those notes and understanding why we're using the different amounts and the different values. All right, so let's look at our next question. I'm going to read it while I erase this. It says, for the following data sets has the largest standard deviation. Now, you're in luck. Our calculator has a wonderful standard deviation feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull up that calculator. Oh, there we go. Here I am. I'm going to put it over here so we can see more of the calculator. And have a little background music. Which of the following data sets has the largest standard deviation? So I'm going to go into my stats and I'm going to put each one of these into a list. And then I'm going to find all the information about the list. So I'm going to go to 1 and I have all of these lists that I can use. So I'm going to put F for list 1, G for list 2, H for list 3, and J for list 4. So here we go. I have 0, 0, 10, 10. Then I have my next one. Then I have 0, 1, 9, 10. I have 2, 3, 5, 7. And I think I have too many 10s here, so I'm going to delete them. Gotta be careful. All right, and then the last one is 5, 5, 5, 5. Now, obviously we can tell that since J is all 5s, it's not going to have the largest standard deviation. So I don't really even have to look at that. There. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this screen and go back to my statistics. I'm going to scroll over to calculate and go to that one variable statistic. So I'm going to go to 1. I'm using list 1. I don't have to worry about the frequency, and I'm going to calculate. Now, this is where I'm going to have a triple screen. So I see all of these different numbers, all of these different amounts, but what I need is my standard deviation. Now, my standard deviation has a symbol here, and it is this one. That equals standard deviation. It's the same thing. So my standard deviation for F is what? 5. So we're going to get it for G, H, and J. So let's go ahead and look. Let's go back to my statistics. We're going to go over to calculate. Go to number 1. Now we're going to look at list 2. Down here in blue, I have list 2, and I'm going to press calculate, go up to this standard deviation, and I have 4.5. Well, that can't be it because I'm looking for the largest. So now let's look for H. Let's go back to stat, over to calculate, enter. Now let's do list 3. Look at there, there's list 3. So I'm going to do list 3. And go up here, and I have 1.9. Well, that's not it because that's even smaller. So now let's just look at the next one. Even though they're all the same, stat over 1. We're going to do list 4, which is right here on the number 4. And, oh, we don't have one. So obviously my answer is going to be what? It's going to be F, because that is the largest standard deviation. Remember, standard deviation is the distance between the middle. Good job, guys. All right, so let me get that going. And let's go to our next question. All right, so it says that Michael has a cylinder or cylindrical fish tank shown that has an inside diameter of 18 inches. When he puts colored gravel into the fish tank, the water level in the tank rose 2 inches. What is the volume of the gravel in cubic inches? All right, so we need to know, how do I do volume again? Volume equals what? Pi r squared times the h. Now, so let's just go ahead and put in what we know. The volume of this is going to be pi, obviously. The radius is my r. Now remember, the radius is half the diameter. Now, I have been teaching this forever. When I'm talking about a circle, I go to the doctor. D is my diameter all the way through. R is my radius half the way through. So remember, when you go and work with circles, always go to the doctor, D and R. All right, so I have my pi for my volume, and then my R, which is going to be 9 squared. And do I know my height? Okay, so that's something that we need to understand. The height of the whole fish tank? No, the height of the gravel. And we know that it is 2. So obviously, I'm going to have my answer in terms of pi. So 9 squared is going to be 81 times 2. Just plug that into your calculator. And I get the volume is 162 pi. So my answer is what? It's C. Good job. The table gives value of f of x, g of x, and h of x. For all possible integers, x is less than or equal to 5. Given that h of f of g of a equals 1, where a is a positive integer less than or equal to 5, what is the value of a? So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the inside to the out, all right? So I need to know where a is less than or equal to 1, all right? So I'm first going to look at my g of a, all right? So my g of a, and let's just use, oops, go ahead, we're here. Okay, so if I used 3, let's just use 3. All right, so when I have g of 3, that gives me what? A 2. My f of 2 is what? F of 2 is 1. So when I have an h of 1, I don't get 3. So I know that my answer is not a 3. So let's look at a 2. So when I have my g of 2, my g of 2 is 5. So then I would use f of 5, and that is going to be, f of 5 is going to be 3. So my h of 3 is 1. Or is it? H of 3, nope, that's 5. H of 3 is 5. So I know that I cannot use that one. So then let's just skip 4 because I just want to see if it's the last one. Maybe we'll have to go back to 4. So I'm going to use my g of 5. G of 5 is 1. G of 5 is 1. So then let's look at f of 1. So my f of 1 is 2. So then let's go to my h of 2, and my h of 2 is 1. And that's what I'm looking for. So then let's go back and see why it could not have been the 2. So when I go to my G of 2, I get a 5. When I go to my F of 5, I get a 3. When I go to my H of 3, I get a 5. So that's how it cannot be. So let's look and see why 4 couldn't have been possible. So my G of 4 is 3. My F of 3 is 4. And my H of 4 is 4. Because I'm going from the inside out. So my only possible choice is going to be J at 5. That's a little bit more complicated, but the good thing is in our next couple of lessons, we will understand how to use these different skills. So let's do our last possible answer question. Here we go. Each time coin C is tossed, it lands face up or face down, obviously. The probability of landing face up is 3 times the probability of landing face down. In a certain game, the players win $1 when the coin is face up. The players win $2 when the coin is face down. To the nearest cent, what is the expected value of each toss of the coin? So let's go ahead and look at this probability. So we have the probabilities of face down, and we have the probabilities of face up. All right. So I need to know about this hat. All right, so it says that I win $1 for my face up. So we're going to put $1 here. And $2 for face down. So now that we've got this portion, it says that I want to look to see what my probability is, and then to the nearest cent, what's the expected value for each toss. So I'm going to look at it like this. I've got the probability of face down plus the probability of face up, and all those probabilities equal 1. So I know it's 3 times likely to have a face up, we're going to do it this way, than the probability of face down. And that's still got to equal our 1. Because it says up here, it's 3 times likely for it to be face up. Or am I reading that wrong? Yep. The probability of landing face up is 3 times more than the probability of face down. So then I'm just going to solve this. I have 4p equals 1. So the probability is going to be 1/4. All right. So now I can take that and look at my amount wise. So I'm going to have $1 for the probability, the probability of face up, plus I'm going to have $2 for what? Face down. And obviously that's going to be a 1. So what I'm looking at, my expected value, I'm going to have 1. We got this a little messy. Let's rewrite it. But sometimes Miss Killing gets it so messy she can't read it. All right, so we've got, here we go, $1 times face up and $2 face down. So I'm going to write it like this. I know that this is 3/4 likely and 1/4 likely, right? Because this is 3 times more, this is 1 time. All right, so let's look at it like this. 1 times 3/4 plus $2, 1/4. So here we go. I've got 3/4 plus 2/4, and that's going to equal 5/4. So I'm going to turn this into a fraction, which is also going to give me my decimal amount. So when I do this in my calculator, I come up with $1.25. So my answer for each of the nearest to the cent of what the expected value is for each toss is going to be letter A. Now, all this probability is not difficult. You just got to remember how we do this, essential skills that we learned in 8th grade about that probability. So, as always, guys, I want to make sure that you are practicing all your different skills that you've learned, remembering that we've got all the techniques that we're going to learn how to do, maybe problems that you've never learned. So, as always, I am Miss Killen. You can see me. I am Miss Killen. This is MPB's math portion of the boot camp that we're doing. And as always, practice, practice, practice. And I'll see you next time.